Okay, what's up, boys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing another Bracketology. Joe Lenardi's February 23rd edition, I believe, just came out yesterday. I'm doing it a little late, but better late than never. Right, let's get it. Alright, so Gonzaga versus the winner of South Dakota and A&T, which I believe would probably actually be South Dakota. But either way, I think this matchup will end up being a win for Gonzaga at the end of the day. So there's that. Loyola Chicago and San Diego State. Not too big on either one of these teams. I know the fan vote's probably going to go to Loyola Chicago. But I'm actually going to go with San Diego State because they have a win over UCLA earlier in the year, which is actually not a awful team. So I'm actually going to go with them there in this matchup. Purdue and Toledo. Not too high in Purdue. I know they're playing a tough schedule, but they have 8 or maybe even 9 losses at this point. I don't understand how they can be a 5 seed, really. I know they're in the best conference in college basketball, but I still don't see it. But however, I do think they're going to beat Toledo, though, and advance to the second round. Texas and Cal San Bernardino, or is it? No, that's Santa Barbara. Cal Santa Barbara. I think Texas will win, although Texas needs to. I think they had a big win yesterday, but overall they need to get better as a team and play better as a team if they're going to be successful in the tournament. Missouri and Seton Hall. Missouri has kind of been falling off of late, but I'm not high on Seton Hall or really any team outside of like Creighton and Villanova out of the Big East. So I do think Missouri will win, although I'm not very high on this Missouri team right now. They're not playing as good as they have been. Florida State and Grand Canyon. I think Florida State will win. This is the best team in the ACC, in my opinion. They're playing very good basketball right now and have some big wins in their schedule. Colorado and Drake. I know the fan vote is probably going to go Drake here, but I think Colorado's a decent team. I don't think they're a great team. I think they're a decent team. Drake has had a good season. You know, I'm going to go with Drake. I'm going to go with Drake barely. If Colorado... Oh man, that's tough. If that was many other teams besides Colorado, it probably would have been the 7th seed, but I will take Drake since it's Colorado. Alright, number 2, Iowa against Siena. I think it will be Iowa. Moving on in that matchup. Ohio State and Texas State. I think Ohio State will win. Not exactly sure if they should be a 1 seed or not. They did lose to Michigan at home, and they have 5 losses now, I believe, so I don't know. But really, it's not a very good candidate for that fourth 1 seed, to be honest. So, Florida and Oregon, I will go with Florida since Pac-12, not very high on Pac-12 at all. So I will be going Florida in this matchup. Texas Tech and the winner of Minnesota and Colorado State, which I actually think will be Colorado State because it's not a home game for Minnesota. But either way, I do think at the Big 12 battle testedness, will be able to prevail Texas Tech to a victory there. Virginia and Winthrop. Winthrop's had a very, very good season. Only 1 loss in the season, and actually, this might not be a terrible matchup for them. But I think that the way that Tony Bennett coaches and the way that the Cavaliers play defense will, at the end of the day, give them a victory here against Winthrop. Tennessee and St. Bonaventure. St. Bonaventure is one of my favorite sleepers this year, but definitely not my favorite. Tennessee plays very good defense, offense not so much, but I do think they will pull out a victory here in this matchup. West Virginia and UNCG. Last one of these I had West Virginia in the Final Four, so I'm definitely going to go with them here moving on past UNCG, although UNCG has had a pretty good season. Clemson and Maryland. I don't know, man. Maryland is in the Big Ten, a very, very good conference, and I don't know. Clemson's had multiple pauses now. Don't know how that will affect their tournament stuff. So that might not end up very well for them. So I'll go Maryland to win this matchup here. Although if there was no pauses for Clemson, Clemson could be even a higher seed than this. Alabama and James Madison. I think I will go with Alabama. All right, moving to the top right of the bracket. Here we go. Baylor and Prairie View A&M or Wagner. I think Baylor will prevail there. Although they did have a scare yesterday against Iowa State. That's a very, very bad Iowa State team, and they almost lost, I think, at home almost. Like, probably just a simple case of just looking past the game. They did pull it out. That would have been bad if they lost that. But anyways, Rutgers and UNC. I mean, Rutgers is a Big Ten team. Obviously, the best team in best conference, I should say, not the best team in college basketball. But UNC, the way UNC's been playing the last 2 games, if they play like that, like, I clearly think they can win this. Like, obviously, like, that'll be a very, very good team matchup to face. But if they play like they did against Louisville, that's a definite win there. Wisconsin and Belmont. Belmont is the team that I was talking about. My favorite Cinderella for this year. USC and Western Kentucky. I think Western Kentucky will put up a good fight, but I think USC's overall talent gap will give them the win there, with Evan Mobley anchoring the center position. Virginia Tech and VCU. I will go Virginia Tech. Mike Young's a very good coach, but VCU does play a very smart brand of basketball, so watch out for them. Houston and Eastern Washington, I should say. I'm going to go with Houston there. LSU and Boise State. I'm not very high on LSU, but I do think overall talent will give them the win there against Boise State. Illinois and Sam Houston State, I think we will go with Illinois, although they did just lose to Michigan State, but that's way better competition than Sam Houston State, no offense. Cleveland State goes up against Michigan. Michigan, I think, will prevail there to the obviously coach of the year, in my opinion, and Juwan Howard. I don't know how you could argue anyone else. Oklahoma State and UCLA. I think it's going to be Oklahoma State. I'm not even sure if they're eligible. I said this last time. I'm still not sure. UCLA in the Pac-12, not too high in them. They're a decent team, but I don't think they're as good or as talented as OSU. So, Creighton and Wichita State. Wichita State just entered the rankings in mine. And Creighton is the only other team besides Villanova in the Big East that I kind of not like, but like think is a good team. This is an interesting matchup. This is really, really interesting. I'm actually going to go the upset. I really am. I'm going to go Wichita State to upset Creighton in the 5-12 matchup. For Kansas against 13 Colgate, I will go Kansas there. Arkansas versus the winner of Indiana and Xavier, which I think will be Indiana. I'm going to go Arkansas either way. Arkansas has really been impressing me. Indiana, yes, I played in the best conference in college basketball, but still, you gotta win some of those games against the top tier opponents, and they just haven't really been doing that. So I'm gonna go Arkansas. Oklahoma and Liberty. Liberty could win this one, but I'm not gonna pick them. I think Oklahoma will, at the end of the day, win that matchup. BYU and Louisville. Louisville looks very, very bad in this last game. BYU is the only team that could probably contest against Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference. I don't know, man. I think Louisville's a good team. They just weren't ready for that Carolina game after being on a pause. Oh, man. This is tough. I'm going to go Louisville, though. I think the overall talent will give them the win there. And Villanova, I think, will beat UMBC. All right, so that is that. On to the round of 32, we got Gonzaga versus San Diego State, which I think will be Gonzaga pulling out that one as the 1 seed. Purdue and Texas. I think Texas is a much better team, but if they play like they have been playing lately and like not getting along and all that stuff, they could definitely lose this. But predicting that the resolutions have been found concerning Texas, I think they will win that one against Purdue. Florida State and Missouri. I think Florida State is the best team in the ACC, one of the best teams in the nation, in my opinion. I think they definitely will win this one against falling off Missouri team. Drake and Iowa. I do think Iowa will win that explosive offense. I don't think Drake will have any really chance to stop their explosive offense. I think they will win the game there. Ohio State and Florida. I think Ohio State will pull out the victory here. Texas Tech and Virginia. I think I'm going to go Texas Tech here. Virginia is the higher seed, but I think Texas Tech, playing in a more battle-tested conference, and overall, just their offensive ability, I think, I don't know, man. Actually, well, yeah, I think that the way they play basketball, Virginia does, I don't think it favors them in this matchup. So I'm going to go Texas Tech. Tennessee and West Virginia. I think West Virginia is the clearly better team. 100% offensively, and defensively, Tennessee may be better, but with the lack of offense that Tennessee has, I don't think they'll have a chance in that matchup. Alabama and Maryland in the final round of 32 matchup on this left side. I am going to go Alabama here to move on. So there that is. All right, top right of the bracket, Baylor and UNC. I do think Baylor will come out with a victory here. Although, if Baylor plays like they did against Iowa State and UNC plays like they did against Louisville, then they could definitely win that. But I don't see that happening in tournament time, so Baylor will win that matchup. Belmont and USC. I think Belmont's Cinderella run continues, and they will face Baylor in the Sweet 16. Virginia Tech and Houston. This is very interesting. So I think it's time to go Virginia Tech, but I'm not going to. I think I will give Houston the benefit of the doubt and have them move on here. LSU and Illinois. I think Illinois is just the all-around clear better team. They've been playing very good of late, except for that last Michigan State game. All right, Michigan against Oklahoma State. I'm going to go Michigan. I am going to go Michigan at the end of the day. Although OSU is a pretty good team and a very good conference, so I think that will help them. Wichita State and Kansas. I'm going to go Wichita State upsetting Kansas and moving on again. I like this Wichita State team, man. What can I say? Arkansas, Oklahoma. Interesting. I think Arkansas playing very well, but I think Oklahoma is just too prepared for this to lose, in my opinion. So I am gonna, at the end of the day, go with Oklahoma. And Villanova and Louisville. I think Villanova will win that matchup. All right, so now we are on to the Sweet 16. We got our teams here. Let's go to the top left and start with Texas versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga, I think, is going to win this game. Even if Texas resolves their issues, I think Gonzaga just is a better team at the end of the day. Iowa and Florida State. This is tough. Iowa has basically no defense whatsoever, and they didn't look too good against Penn State the other day. So I'm actually going to go with it. I'm going to go with Florida State beating Iowa and advancing to the Elite Eight to face a team they've had some tournament struggles, victories against, I should say, in Gonzaga. So Ohio State and Texas Tech. I do think Ohio State will win this matchup. West Virginia against Alabama. I think West Virginia goes back to the Elite Eight and back-to-back videos for me. I like this front court a lot. Belmont and Baylor. I do think Belmont's Cinderella run does come to an end here against Baylor, and Baylor is able to pull out a win and move on to the Elite Eight. Houston and Illinois. I think Illinois is going to win this matchup out of the Big Ten. More battle-tested, more ready for this game. I think they will be able to pull it out. Michigan and Wichita State. I think Wichita State's Cinderella run ends here as well, along with Belmont in the Sweet 16, and Michigan moves on to the Elite Eight. Oklahoma and Villanova. Interesting matchup here. I'm going to actually take Oklahoma to move on to the Elite Eight here. Believe it or not, over the Big East front runner right now in Villanova. Gonzaga and Florida State is actually very interesting because these teams seem to face off a lot in the NCAA tournament, and this could go either way based on these two teams' history. But I do think Gonzaga is the overall better team, so I will go with them to advance to the Final Four. Ohio State and West Virginia, 1 seed versus 3 seed. Very interesting. I'm gonna go with my gut and go with West Virginia. Nothing that I've seen lately has told me not to, so I'm gonna really go with it. All right, Baylor and Illinois, 2 teams that did not perform at their best this past week. Illinois losing to Michigan State and Baylor almost losing to Iowa State, a very bad team. But I think Baylor will, come tournament time, be ready for this and advance to the Final Four for themselves. And Oklahoma versus Michigan, I will take Michigan to advance here. Okay, here we go. Final Four, Gonzaga, Baylor, West Virginia, Michigan. So Gonzaga versus West Virginia, I think Gonzaga will pull it out. The offensive explosion and so much talent on that team, I think, will lead to them being able to perform very well in this game. And Baylor versus Michigan, I'm actually going to change it up. I'm actually going to go Michigan, believe it or not, advancing to the Final Four as well. Actually, I think this is where the Final Four teams are supposed to go, actually. So there's that. All right, so we got Gonzaga moving on, and we have Michigan moving on past Baylor. Just not impressed with their last performance against Iowa State. That's a very bad team, and they barely won on their home floor. But they probably could just been looking over it. But Michigan has only 1 loss in the season, and they're a very good team as well. So these are like the top 3 teams, like in my opinion, like clearly being Michigan, Baylor, and Gonzaga. And those are the clear best teams in the nation. Those top 3 are the clear favorites right now. So Gonzaga versus Michigan in the national championship. Michigan's been to the championship so many times and lost time and time again, man. And I gotta say, I don't think it's gonna change this time either. I think Gonzaga is gonna be able to pull out the victory and win their national championship. I think they're first in school history. So guys, let me zoom out real quick. That'll be the bracketology for today. You guys can pause and look at the bracket. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.